Good afternoon, I'm Pedro Matamoros from Money Watch, and today we are going to be discussing Ford Motor Company, New York Stock Exchange number F. Chairman, William Clay Ford Jr., with a total number of employees of 164,000. Ford Motor Company engages in the development, manufacture, and distribution and service of vehicles and related parts worldwide. The company operates through two sectors, the automotive and financial sectors. Auto sector markets cars, trucks, and parts through retail dealers in North America, and throughout distribution, the dealer and outside North America, primarily under the Ford and Lincoln brand names. Ford Motor Company's second quarter had a gross product of $5,442,000,000, and it was a drop from the first quarter by $149 million. After all operating expenses were accounted for in the second quarter, the operating costs came to $2,483,000,000. And after a final costs were all accounted for, Ford was left with a net income of $1,040,000,000. Ford's third quarter showed more promise, with a gross product of $5,629,000,000, which is an increase of $187 million over the second. And after final operating costs were deducted, they had a remaining operating income of $2,663,000,000. And with removal of all other expenditures, Ford's most recent quarter's net income was $1,631,000,000, which was an overall increase of $591 million, increasing over the second. For the balance sheet of Ford Motor Company, its first quarter, which ended at March 30th, 2012, was $122,859,000,000, which dropped by $1,716,000,000 going to June 29th. The second quarter's final number was $121,143,000,000. The assets for the third quarter, which ended September 29th this year, its number was $122,812,000,000, which was an increase from the previous quarter by $1,669,000,000. The liabilities on the other side of the spectrum from the first quarter were $165,469,000,000, which dropped down $1,269,000,000 into the second, leaving us with a final number of $164,200,000,000, with an increase into the first quarter, which is an increase into the third quarter by $1,319,000,000, with the final number most recently of $165,519,000,000. The stock equity for the first quarter of this year was $16,606,000,000, going into an increase of $430 million into the second, leaving us with a number of $17,036,000,000. The final quarter of this year, stock equity's total number was $18,841,000,000, an increase from that second quarter of $1,805,000,000. The total cash flows for operating activities from March 30th, 2012 for Ford Motor Company was $2,025,000,000, an increasing by $1,829,000,000 into the second, June 30th, of $3,904,000,000. The third quarter, starting final number on September 30th, 2012, dropped down $473 million into $3,427,000,000. The total cash flows from the investors' activities on first quarter of March 31st gave us a number of $4,171,000,000, gave us a decrease in losses into the second by $1,473,000,000, giving us a number on June 30th of $3,038,000,000. Unfortunately, there was a gain of losses by $2,036,000,000 into this third quarter, most recently on the 30th, which was $5,074,000,000. Thank you from Money Watch for viewing our executive summary on Ford Motor Company, ranked 9th on the Fortune 500. Come in next time when we will actually be comparing this company to Toyota Motor Companies and see how the competition measures up.